Did you know in 2018 there were roughly 16,000 murders committed in the United States? And 10,000 of those were committed by males alone. For a couple years now, I've been very interested in true crime related topics such as the Aaron Hernandez case. For this speech, I read multiple scholarly articles, read lots of articles about Aaron Hernandez and his trial, and also watched the documentary The Killer Inside the Mind of Aaron Hernandez, published on Netflix in January 2020. I think a lot of us can relate that there's probably been a situation in our life where our judgment has been clouded due to a person's economic status or social status, and unfortunately that is a problem in this case since Aaron did play for the New England Patriots in the NFL. But I hope today that you can just hear the facts and exclude any judgment or bias you may have already on Aaron Hernandez. Today I'm going to be sharing 3 main reasons why Aaron Hernandez was rightfully convicted in his part in the murder of Odin Lloyd. The 3 main reasons I'm going to share today are that he planned the night, provided the mode of transportation, and he also was seen on surveillance holding a gun. Before I get into my claims, I just want to say that this is Aaron Hernandez. You've probably seen him on TV before. Maybe this was your favorite player when you were a little bit younger. And then also, this is a very significant relationship to discuss before we get into the speech. So Shania Jenkins is dating Aaron Hernandez. Shania Jenkins is dating Odin Lloyd. So potentially Odin and Aaron could have been brother-in-laws at some point in their lives. So that's a very significant relationship to note right off the bat. The first claim I'm going to talk about is that Aaron was the one to plan the night's proceedings. According to the article, the most damning physical evidence against Aaron Hernandez, published in January 2015 by Business Insider, Aaron Hernandez was the one to spark the conversation that night. And these are the texts from that night. I'm going to mainly address this bigger text. It's really hard to see. Honestly, it's even hard to see on my computer, so you won't probably be able to read it. But basically, in slang terms, he talks about coming to grab something that night and do you want to hang out later. So that's kind of my own words. He's basically saying, I need to come grab that. Do you want to hang out after? But he says it more in like slang terms in the text. A short conversation follows, and then Odin would actually be picked up at 2:33 a.m. by Aaron and 2 other men. The 2 other men are involved, but I'm not going to discuss them. I'm just going to mainly talk about Aaron. So 30 minutes into that drive, Odin actually texts his sister, do you know who I'm with? And then she didn't respond because it's like 3 o'clock in the morning at this point. So roughly 20 minutes later, he texts NFL. So it's suspected that sometime in this car ride that the mood switched. He started to fear for his life. He got a bad vibe. So he wanted his sister to know who he was with. And all the text regarding him and his sister is from the documentary The Killer Inside the Mind of Aaron Hernandez, published in January 2020 by Netflix. The counter argument to this is, why would Aaron kill someone he has a very close relationship with? Odin trusted him. Aaron trusted Odin. So why would they do that? What would be the motive? On the other hand, this relationship did make Odin a very vulnerable target because he did trust Aaron. He wouldn't suspect anything if Aaron asked if he wanted to hang out. And in society today, unfortunately, we see a lot of people killing people they trust or family members, so it's not unlikely that Aaron would also do this. In the end, Aaron was the one to plan the night's proceedings the night of the murder of Odin Lloyd. The next argument to be made is that of transportation. Aaron Hernandez provided the mode of transportation the night of the murder of Odin Lloyd. According to the article, Aaron Hernandez Trial, How Prosecutors Linked the Former Patriot Star to Murder, published in February 2015 by ABC News, Aaron Hernandez rented a silver Nissan Altima the night of the 16th. And this car was actually seen fleeing the murder scene and also on Aaron's home security tape pulling up after the murder. When this car was returned to the rental company, there was a bullet casing found. And that is important to note because that bullet casing was directly linked to the bullet casings found at the murder of Odin Lloyd. That's interesting to think about, that Aaron rented a car and he had his own personal car. So why did he do that? Was it because he knew this murder was going to happen? I think a lot of us can probably relate that we have a special object that we don't take out very often, or we're scared to take out because we don't want it to get ruined. So I kind of think that's maybe what Aaron was thinking, that if he knew this murder was going to take place, he didn't want his personal car involved because he didn't want it to be damaged or anything like that. So he rented a rental car. To sum up what was stated above, Aaron Hernandez suspiciously rented a car in his own name the night before the scene of the murder. Now let's move on to the argument to be made about the potential murder weapon. Aaron Hernandez was seen in surveillance tapes right after the murder holding a gun. This was at his home security. As shown in the documentary Killer Inside the Mind of Aaron Hernandez, Aaron is caught on surveillance tapes collected from his home security with an object that resembles a gun. Now, why I'm saying resembles is because we cannot 100% say this is a gun because the gun was never recovered. Because it is suspected that Cheyenne Jenkins, his fiance, at the time was suspected of removing it from the house. A couple days after the murder, she received a message from Aaron saying, "Go in the back of the screen in the movie room, there's a box," just in case you were looking for it. Now, this is a very suspicious message because this is the basement door, so Aaron was taking that gun into the basement where the movie room was located. And then roughly 30 minutes later, she was seen carrying a trash bag out, put it in her car, and she said in court that she disposed of that bag in a dumpster. She didn't know where the dumpster was. So it was just a very suspicious act right after the murder of Odin Lloyd. The counter argument to all the arguments I stated was that Aaron played football. So CTE is a very common thing among football players. So could he have had this? As stated in the article Chronic Traumatic Encephalopathy, posted in June 2019 by Mayo Clinic, some of the symptoms of CTE would include impulsive behavior, depression, and suicidal thoughts and actions. So could CTE be the reason why Aaron committed the murder of Odin Lloyd? According to the article Making a Murder, Media Rendings of Brain Injury in Aaron Hernandez as a Medical and Sporting Subject, published by Holland Gregory in January 2020, Aaron hung himself in his prison cell on April 19, 2017. After his death, he was found to have an advanced case of CTE. You cannot figure out if someone has CTE when they're alive, so this was a crucial piece after he passed away that he was found to have an advanced case of CTE. On the other hand, though, we cannot contribute all his behavior to CTE because he was known as a wild child, so the fact that that behavior followed him into adulthood isn't very unlikely. In conclusion, there is some pretty damning evidence and video evidence to support that my thesis that Aaron was rightfully convicted for his part in the murder of Odin Lloyd. Now that I've discussed my main arguments and claims and pieces of evidence, let's do a quick recap. Today I shared 3 main reasons why Aaron Hernandez was rightfully convicted for his part in the murder of Odin Lloyd. The 3 main points I shared that prove Aaron was rightfully convicted are the fact that he planned the night, provided the mode of transportation, and was seen on surveillance holding a gun. Next time you find yourself in a situation where you can dig a little deeper, do it. There's only so much you can see on the top of a person or a situation, so if you have that ability to do that, use it to your advantage. On April 19, 2017, Aaron Hernandez did commit suicide in his prison cell. So was this because he was guilty of killing Odin Lloyd? Was this because of his underlying CTE? Or was this because of the judgment of others was getting to him? Unfortunately, the world will never know why Aaron Hernandez did commit suicide. All we can do is speculate. Thank you.